It's now time for Motivational Mondays with Fionia Salmon.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Motivational Mondays. I am your host, Fionia Salmon. A warm welcome to viewers on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you so much for tuning in. If it's your first time here, Motivational Monday is a platform which provides information and inspiration through stories of our featured guests. Our guest today is Dr. Virgo. She is a medical doctor, licensed holistic health and nutrition practitioner. She also holds a master's in public health medicine and also in complementary and alternative medicine. She will be sharing her journey in medicine and provide insight into how individuals can make a more proactive and informed approach to their health. Before we dive into the interview or the discussion, you're invited to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's Fionia and Friends. Your comments and questions on YouTube will be shown on screen. So go ahead, let's talk. Send all your questions, and Dr. Virgo will answer them throughout the interview. Motivational Mondays is sponsored by Ionia Distributors LLC, the company that distributes my stainless steel barware sets and also my motivational t shirts featuring the title of my book, It Will Be Long But Not Forever. So if you haven't gotten a copy of my book yet, what are you waiting on to support me? Go ahead and get a copy. It's available on Amazon, Instagram, wherever you scroll, go ahead and get a copy. And while you're at it, make sure to get a copy for a friend or for a family for gifts. So thank you so much. And if you're already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and share it wide and far. So thank you so much, and let's dive into the interview with Dr. Virgo. Dr. Virgo, welcome. Good evening. How are you doing?
Hi, good evening, Fionia. I am doing great. Thank you. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me. How are you
You most
doing?
welcome. I'm doing great as usual. I'm doing great. And I would love for you to introduce yourself to our listeners.
Sure, definitely. So, as mentioned before, so my name is Dr. Rivane Chybar-Virgo. As mentioned before, medical doctor. I'm also a licensed holistic health and nutrition practitioner. So, as you know, a few things about me. So, in my spare time, I love swimming. I love um, spending time with family, playing volleyball, just enjoying time with family and friends, and really embracing a self care lifestyle. But outside of that, one of the things I'm passionate about is when it comes to minimizing or reducing preventable illnesses. And that's one of the things I'm passionate about doing, empowering persons to do that. I am also a co founder of Health Talk Sundays and Healthy Fit and Fabulous. It's a program that is committed to helping person in terms of preventing, where you heard the term prevention better than cure. So it helps person to take a more proactive approach to health. And that is one of the main things that we do in Health Talks on is on Healthy Fit and Fabulous.
Awesome. There's a lot that I don't know how you get all that time in one day to do so many things. But we will be diving in further into your health talks and everything. But you mentioned that medicine is your passion, and I definitely want to know where did you get that inspiration from, or who inspired you to become a doctor? And as you mentioned, you specialize in holistic health as well.
Okay, great question there. Well, in terms of what inspired me into medicine, I think back to when I was younger. I used to like, well, I was fascinated by the medical shows. The idea just that someone would come to the doctor, to the clinic, where they would feel unwell, and the doctor would figure out what's going on. and then they'll find out the right treatment for them, and then they'll come back and they'll look completely different, like looking transformed. And so just seeing that, it just really stuck with me, and it made me know I wanted to do something different to help persons feel better in a meaningful way. So that led me to medicine. And during my time in the medical field, I recognized something that made me realize I wanted to do more in a holistic approach. um, while in the medical field, I saw this recurring pattern where persons or patients were dealing with chronic illnesses that were preventable. And while discussing with patients, the lifestyle changes I realized were something that persons struggle with a lot of implementing them, whether it's implementing into their lifestyle or not knowing where or when to start or how to start. So even the medications could help, and it helped to some extent. Without that real lifestyle change and getting to the root of the issue, would still become an issue, would become unaddressed. So I knew I wanted to fill that gap and simply help persons when they have the plan to actually implement it so they can get the results that they wanted. And that's really that helped me to pursue that holistic health approach. And one of the persons that first introduced it to me was the late Dr. Anthony Vendries. He really expressed a lot about it, and that's where I started looking into it some more.
Okay, awesome. Outside of holistic treatments or medicine, is there any other areas of specialization?
So yes, I specialize a lot in the uh, sustainable weight loss and blood sugar management. Those are like the key main things that I'm more passionate about, and mainly specialize in those.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Wow. Building on that idea, many people are looking for sustainable ways to improve their well-being. What are some practical lifestyle modification that individuals can adopt to achieve a healthier and more balanced life?
Okay, so there are a lot of things in terms of with the approaching to a more balanced lifestyle in terms of to be practical. If you think about, there's no one size fits all as well. So one of the things, so when I'm giving these tips of the practical things, when you think about you specifically, your situation and how you can fit it into your lifestyle. Because when you think of health and looking at lifestyle modification, there's four pillars of health. We'll look at it: nutrition, physical activity, self-care, stress management as well, right? And sleep. Those are four pillars of health, and a lot of those are things you want to be looking into. So if we're looking at implementing a balanced nutrition, for example, supply or fueling your body with focusing on those whole nutrient dense foods, thinking of the plenty of vegetables, fruits, proteins, healthy fats, the healthy carbs, and balancing it, right? That's one of the things that help the equilibrium there. You asked about um, other factors that can help. So in the physical activity, it's all about starting small. We know that we want to aim for 30 minutes 5 times a week, but if you're not used to that, you might want to start small, maybe 5-10 minutes 3 times a week, and then gradually bump that up. When it comes to quality sleep, a lot of times we hear about getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep, but it's not just the quantity. You also want to think about what's the quality of your sleep. So are you actually resting? The body's getting that quality rest it needs to rejuvenate. So that's something you want to so think about, is like maybe having a bedtime routine to get that quality sleep so you feel refreshed and energized. So that's covering three of them. The self-care is a part of stress management as well, because that has such a huge impact on your health. Not managing your stress, not prioritizing your health. And it makes me think about, a lot of times we think that self-care is selfish, but we have to, if you want to you want to give so much to help others, but for you to help, you need to take care of you as well, right? So that's something to think about, like take care of you to give more to others. And again, it starts with small things, maybe even just starting with gratitude, 3 things you're grateful in the day, ending the night with the evening routine. So there are different things that we can look for self-care, and it can be simple and implemented into your lifestyle.
That's true.
Um, mhm.
You mentioned stress can be one of those motivating factors. While lifestyle changes are important, many people are struggling with financial challenges due to the rising costs. Let's get a little bit more practical here. The rising cost of living. How can individuals stay motivated and committed to a healthy lifestyle without feeling overwhelmed by the economic pressures that we're currently facing?
You know, that is a good question. It's because this is something that many persons are struggling with, and it can feel overwhelming or feel like it's impossible to live a healthy lifestyle when with the rising costs, for example. It can feel like it's just impossible, but it is. It is possible. Sometimes it just takes a little creativity and a little planning and putting things together, and it can be done on a budget, right? If we look back at the four pillars I mentioned before of health, the nutrition, exercise, the sleep, the stress, I can give some ideas or examples here. As you mentioned, you want to be practical here.
Yes.
It's to look at some things that you can do that is as affordable ways. Looking at nutrition, for example, we don't need fancy foods helps to be healthy, right? Simple budgeting things can help there, or like the canned foods, for example. We have canned beans, peas, canned vegetables, right? Even canned meats like canned sardine, mackerel, tuna. Those are very nutrient dense and things that are more affordable. And we can also look at the whole grains as well, the ground provision. And these can come together to create a nutritious diet. We can also grow our own as well. In our backyard garden, we have like fruits, vegetables, some ground provisions, right? And if you have like neighbors or friends nearby, you can think, and they're also doing their own, you can think about trading or swapping with them, and then you get a variety of different things instead of you trying to do everything for yourself. That's another thing that can help. I mentioned planning as well. So if you're going to
Yeah.
supermarket, you want to like meal plan so you know exactly what you need and not buying which is something that might spoil because you forget about it or you didn't plan for it. And buying in
That's
bulk can help as well. That's like one pillar. The other one is exercise. We can exercise for free. We don't need a gym membership. While a gym membership is good, right? But we don't need to stay active. From walking to doing home workouts. We can body weights are good. And even if you want to up the weight, strength training, there are household items you can use to help to do strength training as well. And so even YouTube videos can help with a program for you. So if you're not sure what structure, there's YouTube videos that can help, and all that is free. Sleep and stress management. We know sleep is free. One of the biggest health ways to be healthy is to get adequate sleep. So, and then there's self management, stress care, or self care and stress management. So, you taking care of yourself. Sometimes we wait for a vacation or time off to really take care of ourselves, but it can sometimes just taking care of yourself or giving yourself a break can just take a few seconds. Journaling, it doesn't cost anything to journal, to talk with a loved one, connect, get that support
Mhm.
group with persons.
That's
Give yourself a little facial, or just to go outside and rest. Different things that we can do. That is the key is to
that's
find
right.
what you like. For some persons, dancing, right? And all
That's
of that can be affordable. So it's really our perspective and how we look at it as well that can really help with it. And the things just start small as well, and be consistent and really build from there too. But it's possible.
awesome. That is awesome, Stefan. And we're going to dive a little bit further into the nutrition part of it. A friend of mine always said to me, never go to the grocery store hungry. Always go with go full, just in case, you don't buy unnecessarily or buy unhealthy food. So I always remember not to go to the grocery store hungry. And on that note, we're
Mhm.
going to take a quick break. You're tuned into Motivational Mondays. I am your host, Fionia Salmon, and today's guest is Dr. Virgo. And she will be sharing, and she is sharing her journey in medicine and to provide insight into how individuals can make more proactive and informed approach to their health or to their lifestyle. Motivational Mondays is sponsored by Ionia Distributors LLC, the company that distributes my stainless steel barware sets and also my motivational t-shirts featuring the title of my book, It Will Be Long But Not Forever. So if you haven't gotten a copy of my book yet, what are you waiting on? It's all over social media. People are talking about it. So you need to be a part of that buzz as well. Go ahead and get a copy of my book. And while you're there, get a copy for a friend or for a family. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe to Fionia and Friends. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for your support and continue to share this content wide and far with your friends, your loved ones, everyone. Make sure to share it. So let's get back into the discussion with Dr. Virgo on the topic of eating. So we're diving into nutrition now. On the topic of eating habits, it's easy to overindulge even in healthy foods. Could you explain whether overeating, even nutritious meals, can have long term impacts on health and longevity?
Absolutely. Yes. Even if you're eating healthy foods, it if even if you're eating healthy foods, by overeating it or eating in excess, that can also impact your health, and not in the short term and also in the long term, as you mentioned. So we think of overeating as a good way to kind of look at it is, you're taking in more calories than your body needs, and even the healthy foods can add up as well if you're eating more than your body's requiring. And so you asked about how it can affect us in the long term or affect our longevity. But if we're eating more than our body needs, then if our body doesn't need it, it's just going to store it. So it can store it and storing it as fat. Even the sugar, the fatty foods, so even carbs can get stored as fat if we're not using it. And that can lead to weight gain, that can lead to obesity, which on its own can lead to other health problems. Like it can lead to high blood sugar levels, or what we call insulin resistance, which is where the body can't use the sugar properly, which can cause a diabetes. It can also increase the risk for cancers, heart diseases. So it really can throw a lot of things off, throw off your hormones as well. And so it's why it's so important to really listen to your body's cues, which would require a lot of mindful eating as well. And to be mindful of portion size and think about moderation is key as well.
Thank you so much. You mentioned moderation, and for that I want to ask, um, in your view, what does moderation really mean and when it comes to diet and overall well-being?
So with moderation, so for moderation, what it means is, one, being mindful of your portion size. But another thing is being mindful of the type of food you're having, because some foods you can have more often than other foods, and they have different impacts. For example, if you're going to be having fatty, sugary foods, for example, you'd want to have them less often and in smaller portion size as well. Versus like fruits, now you want to have them more often, but you still want to be mindful of the portion size as well that you're having with it. And when you're looking at a healthy diet, it can also look different for everyone as well, for the individual needs. Um, so it boils down to moderation. It can look like balance. the variety of foods, the quality and the quantity of food as well. And if we're looking at balancing in terms of what a healthy diet could look like, again, it looks different for everyone, but to give you a core is thinking about choosing foods from the color of the rainbows, like the vegetables, the fruits,
Yes.
those colors there, combining it with that
Mhm.
lean protein, the healthy fats, which to give some example of the healthy fats, that can be like avocado, or we call it pear in Jamaica, nuts, seeds, olive oil, and the whole grains as well. Um, I want to give I think an example might help for the moderation.
Yes.
Well, would that be helpful? Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
for the general, let's say that for the general average healthy person, then again, the portion size may vary, but I'm giving an example. So if we were to do like a plate, and like I say, a 9-inch plate, and you divide the plate into two, and where you have one half, and then the other half you divide it into two, so you get one half and two quarter. Now, if you fill the half with fruits and vegetables, then fill the other quarter now with protein, whether it's lean protein from plant or plant protein, and the other with the high quality carbs. Like maybe let's say you're going with sweet potato, for example, on the other side of the plate, and in small amounts of the healthy fats. That's another way to help when you're looking at creating that balanced plate. And of course, we have your seasoning as well. So I hope that kind of helped to put things into
Yes.
perspective when it comes to moderation in creating a plate.
It does actually. Speaking of diet and moderation, food labels can be
Mhm.
confusing or overlooked. Should we be paying closer attention to labels, particularly serving sizes, as you mentioned the serving sizes? And if so, why?
Yes, so food labels are so important. They give us so much information, and it really helps us to make some informed choices as well. And can be tricky, as you mentioned. It can be a little tricky, and especially when the packages at the front, they may have some words like natural or healthy, and it can throw us off sometimes. But um, I usually recommend like turning the package around to look at that food label you mentioned, right? And 'cause that gives you way more information on it. So the first thing, as you said, is to check the serving size. And when you check the serving size, what it tells you is like telling you what the rest of the label actually is going to apply to. So let's say we have a drink, for example, maybe a fruit juice. If the serving size says 2 servings
Yeah.
and you drink the entire bottle, what that means is that you have to double everything that's on the food label, meaning
Oh,
you just
wow.
drank double the calories, double the sugar, double everything on it. So if it had 10 grams of sugar and it said 2 servings per
Yes.
container, then if you drink the entire bottle, you drank 2 servings, so that's 20 grams of sugar in one sitting. So that's why it's so important to read that food label. And then after reading that part, you just want to look at the ingredients, the next step. Like the first few parts of the ingredients, the first three ingredients is usually what makes up the bulk of the product. So if you're seeing sugar as the first one, then that's like a red flag. That means that the package, most of it, the in that's in it is made up of sugar. So that helps, to give you an idea of it. And I have a more detailed video of how to read the nutritional label or the food label on my YouTube channel as well. So that's something that you can also check out as well to see more in depth with it and how to read it.
Awesome. Just for clarity, so you're saying that on a label, if say for example the calories are say 600 and serving size is say 4, that means it's 4 divided by that 600.
Can you
Or
repeat the question for me? You're saying Mhm.
okay, so for example, if a label has total calories to be say 10, just
Mhm.
example, serving size is 2. So it will be
Mhm.
the 10 divided by the 2, which is 5. So does that mean that the total package, or the sugar added sugar, everything, does it amount to that five in one serving, or it's times the amount of sugar?
Okay. So let's say that the serving, so if the package says that the serving size is 2
Yes,
and the calories you said was 10. So if you
correct.
eat half of the package, then you'll get
Hmm.
10 calories. But if you
Okay.
eat the entire package, you have to multiply that 10 by 2. So you would have
Oh,
eaten 20 calories there. Mhm.
20. Okay. Okay. Awesome.
Ordinary.
Thank you for the clarity. There's also a common belief that simple eating fruits and vegetables are enough to lose weight. What are your thoughts on this approach? And are there any misconceptions that you like to clarify?
It is a common approach or belief that just eating the fruits and the veggies alone could facilitate weight loss. Um, but the thing about it is that even though fruits and veggies they are packed with essential vitamins, minerals, fiber, which of course can aid in weight loss, but that's only part of the picture. Because simply eating just fruits and veggies alone may not is not an effective or sustainable way for weight loss. Um, when persons think weight loss, they're thinking more the fat loss, right?
Yes.
And so they want to shed the fat, not muscle. They want to keep the muscle. So you'll hear a lot of persons say, "I want to lose the weight, but I want to keep the body or the
Yeah.
muscle." But when you step onto that scale, it's that number you see on the scale. It is measuring fat, yes, but it's also measuring your body, the body muscle, the body water, everything else that's in the body, right?
That's
And
right.
so if we only focus solely on the fruits or the veggies without supporting muscle growth through the adequate protein or strength training, then we can lose muscle mass. So we can be seeing the number on the scale moving down, but we could be losing muscle and not the fat. And so you may even realize that the belly area, for example, might look called the stubborn fat. It doesn't go away, and maybe the weight loss all of a sudden is slowing down. And what can happen is when you're losing that muscle mass, your metabolism can slow down. And
Mhm.
metabolism is the rate at which your body's burning the calories or the fat. So it's more of a combination approach. And again, you mentioned about overeating certain things like the fruits.
Yes.
Eating a lot of
Yes.
fruits, especially at one time,
Yes.
as you had mentioned earlier, it can add up because if your body is taking more than it needs, it can actually end up storing more fat too. So if we think about when it nutrition and weight loss, we think yes, we want to do a calorie deficit, which is one of the things you want to do, but also think about the type of calories you're putting on the plate, a more balanced plate,
Mhm.
including that high quality protein, the fiber, the healthy fats, the high quality carbs as well. These help with stabilizing energy levels, curb the cravings that we often see as well, especially when person want to lose the weight, and can support metabolism too. And another thing when it comes to weight loss, a lot of we focus a lot on nutrition. So we want to make sure we're fueling the body with proper foods that's going to help it along its way. And to take on a balanced approach to weight loss too, meaning other pillars of health, looking at the sleep, the stress management, and physical activity, because those play a key role as well.
Thank you so much for clarifying. I just before I go on a break, I just want to make mention of the comments on YouTube. Yojo says, "Let your food be your medicine," and
Yes.
Yojo also says, "Very good information." You're tuned into Motivational Mondays. I am your host, Fionia Salmon, and I am joined today by Dr. Virgo, and she is providing insight into how individuals can take a more proactive and informed approach to their health. Motivational Mondays is sponsored by Ionia Distributors LLC, the company that distributes my stainless steel barware sets and also my motivational t-shirts featuring the title of my book, It Will Be Long But Not Forever. Thank you so much for everyone who supported and got their t-shirts. I appreciate you. And if you haven't gotten a t-shirt or a book yet, please, what are you waiting on to support me? Go ahead and support me. Get a t-shirt, get a book, or it's that time of the year. It's summer. Go ahead and also get a barware set. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And if you do subscribe to my channel, go ahead, share it out wide and far. Share this informative content with your friends and family and loved ones, whoever it is, share it wide and far. And thank you so much to my viewers on Facebook and also on YouTube. Thank you so much. Let's get back into the interview with Dr. Virgo. From a psychological standpoint, what happens inside our bodies when we overeat? How does the body process and store that excess fat?
All right. So when we overeat, especially, so I look at because sometimes we can overeat once in a while, but we can also overeat frequently as well too. So when we overeat, one of the things that's going to happen, we might notice first off that we might start feeling a little bloated as our stomach expands a little. So you might feel a little bloated, start feeling a little um, discomfort, maybe even sluggish or sleepy,
That's
right?
right.
And right? And so behind the scenes, the body is taking all those excess calories that it's not needing right now. And in a moment, you feel those physical symptoms, but of course, after a while, it may go away. But if this happens over and over, the body is storing that excess calories again as fat, and that can help building up, and it can build up in places like around, or we have fat around the body. We need some fat in the body, but sometimes it can be
That's right.
excess, especially around the organs, can cause some inflammation, right? And so our body does not like excess, right?
Mm,
And so it can cause some havoc in ourselves, which
that's
can, mentioned before, can cause the long-term health illnesses like the heart diseases, the high blood sugar, and different things. And that's why it's so important to really look into being mindful when we're eating or coming to cue with our body. And it doesn't mean that you can't now and again, enjoy, like, say, let's say maybe ice cream now and again, right? But it's how often are you having it? And of course, maybe being mindful of the portion size again, so you don't overeat while you're doing it as well. So it's what you do most often. If you're indulging more in, you're careful of the portion sizes, being moderation, and choosing more nutritious foods, you to fuel the body better or support the body.
awesome. Let's step it up a little bit more and talk about the more uplifting note. We often hear about happy hormones and how certain foods can influence our mood. Are there specific foods or nutrients that can naturally boost our emotional well-being?
Yes, definitely there is. Food can have a big influence on our mood. I mentioned earlier about when you overeat, sometimes you feel a little tired. But
Yes.
maybe a person would have recognized that when you're hungry, the person would probably say you're not who you are, you're not yourself, so you're a little moody. So it's the same thing with foods can influence our moods, whereas happy moods are not. And I know you specifically asked about happy hormones. And some example of the happy hormones are example like the serotonin, the dopamine, the endorphins. And while I'll give an example, like for example, depression, there are certain medication that help to regulate those happy hormones. And similarly, right, there is food that can play a role in supporting these happy hormones as well, right? And so one of the things you want to look at is what are the foods you're feeding your body. So for example, there's this term called tryptophan, and what it is, it's So serotonin is made from the tryptophan, and there's foods like that which you can get from turkey, eggs, oats as well. These are some nice sources of tryptophan, right? And what we find is that it's better if you pair them now with high quality carbs. So like the whole grains, the vegetables, the fruits, or the legumes. And that's one group of foods right there. The other is like your fats as well. Fats is needed, 60% of our brain is made up of fats. So we want to be feeding our brain healthy fats as well, the right type of fats that it needs, which I mentioned a few before. You can get them like the mackerel, the sardine, the fatty fishes like salmon. You get from nuts and seeds, the avocado as well. And those can help with the happy hormones too. Another thing is vitamins or foods that are rich in vitamins, B vitamins and magnesium as well. Those also can help to boost your happy hormones too. You can find these in like leafy greens or again whole grains, eggs. You see a lot of overlap right
Yes,
there.
yes,
Magnesium rich foods like the pumpkin seeds, even dark chocolate. So a lot of times you hear persons say they feel better, they feel for chocolate. That
yes,
magnesium helps to boost that, right?
yes,
hmm
yes, yes.
And yeah, so again, it goes into the moderation. But yeah, so looking at those foods there can help to support, boost your mood. And if you recognize the trend as well, they're all kind of coming back to what was said
Yes,
earlier.
yes,
Other foods for boosting the mood. This is a big one that I almost forgot. It's not necessarily a food, but I mentioned serotonin being one of the happy hormones.
yes.
But 80 or 90 to 95% of our happy hormones, or the serotonin, is actually made in the gut. So if we support our gut health with the right foods, for example, that can help support our mood too. So everything, as I mentioned, is connected.
It's connected. And now that we're moving down from taking care of ourselves, and now we're moving down to creating those happy hormones, let's move down to the other part of the preventive care that plays a vital role in long-term health. How important it is to have annual checkups and which specific assessments or screenings should take priority.
Definitely. Annual checkups are incredibly important. They're very, very crucial when it comes to health. And not just it's big in catching problems early. That is one of the big things there, but it also helps prevent them. So yes, if you have something, you want to catch it early to prevent it from getting worse. But by getting that annual checkup, you can actually maybe take steps to prevent it from even happening. So like the high blood pressure, the diabetes, even early stage colon cancers or cancers in general, don't usually show symptoms in the beginning. It's usually when things are really in the late stage that symptoms might pop up. But when you're going to your doctor routine and getting that checkup, your doctor can listen to your family history, listen to your history, pick up any risk factors that might be there so that they can assess you and say, give an idea of what you may be at higher risk
That's
for and
right.
maybe need to get checked earlier than the average person. Or maybe give you some steps that you can implement now to help prevent this from occurring or prevent it from getting worse. And uh, I should have mentioned this in the when you asked them about financial obligations, but
Yes.
getting your annual checkup can actually be
Mhm.
a big way to prevent financial problems later on in life.
That's right. That's right.
Because if I'm sorry, because if you get those checkup and you find out you catch something early, for example, and you get it treated right away, versus if you found it later on in life, then that's when you may be seeing multiple visits at doctors, multiple treatments for years, medication upon medication, and that's where the medical bill can go higher as well. And
That's right.
so again, that's looking at put a big financial constraint on you as well when it's something that could have been picked up early just by going to those annual checkups and checking in with your doctor.
So, Dr. Virgo, I know that going to the doctor to get all these checkups can be a little bit intimidating at times. And
Mhm.
sometimes we are afraid of speaking up or to ask the right questions. Um, how can we advocate more confidently for ourselves during these medical appointments?
You're right. It is something that it happens a lot, um, and having that fear is something that many persons may feel. But if we, I usually recommend or encourage thinking of it as a discussion where you're advocating for your health. Very important, right? Because you want to make sure that whatever plan is put in place for you is something you're comfortable with and you understand what's going on with you, because when you can express your needs clearly and you on your concerns and you get the answer and have that dialogue back on back, becomes a conversation, and it helps you to be more proactive in your own health. Right. And we encourage the questions as well, because we know that when you ask questions, it's more about your health, and by us explaining and you understanding, and you are okay. If you're okay with a plan we put together, you're more likely to feel it, to do it as well, because you're already more empowered to take control of your health too. And so I say, yes, ask the questions, um, don't hesitate to get second opinions if you think that it's not, getting what you want. Share your health goals with your doctors as well. Ask about all available options, including the lifestyle changes. There's a lot of things that we can ask to just for better explanation for our own health. I mean, think about it. It's your health, right? It's okay to ask those questions. We encourage them. And in the long run, it's better for you when you get that clarification as well. And
Um,
even I see in the chat, mhm.
no, go ahead. Go ahead, please.
I was saying in the chat, sometimes we really are afraid, and I agree. Sometimes it's common to feel that way, but once you start having that dialogue and the respect, goes both ways. You're just really sharing what's going on with you and express that you just really want to know more about yourself and what's going on. It opens a dialogue and it builds that trust for you both. And after a while, that fear you felt initially, it starts to feel less, and then you just start having conversation back and back with your doctor, and you
Mhm.
feel proud when you come back and you're sharing with your doctor, you did this, you did that, you feel better. It takes some time, but I encourage you to ask those and again speak up for your health.
On the comments, well, in the comments section, math and science with TWD, good evening. They said that sometimes we are really afraid. So they're saying that they're really afraid. Would you say that um, making a list of all the questions that you will possibly have ahead of your visit would be a good idea in order to eliminate that intimidation?
Yes, that is a wonderful suggestion there. Having that list of questions, and even so, having that list of questions that you want to ask your doctor is a great way to do it. Surely, sometimes when we're faced front to front, we might forget right away, but you have that list there.
Yes.
Another way is having that list of, if you're on medications, have a list of medications. Your symptoms you might be, maybe you're experiencing, make a list of them as well, because again sometimes we get to the doctor office, we might forget someone, then maybe not they think about having to come back. So write down everything. If you have an underlying illness, track your medications as well. Track if you have high blood pressure, you monitor your pressure at home, write down the numbers. That's a good way to advocate for your health as well, and then you bring it to the doctor's office, because you're not going to remember it, all those numbers. But writing it down and showing it to the doctor, that also helps your health, because doctor now can have an idea how to maybe adjust or optimize your plan. So definitely, that is a great idea.
Yes. So thank you so much for endorsing that idea. You're tuned into Motivational Mondays. I am your host, Fionia Salmon. Today's guest is Dr. Virgo, and she's providing insight into how individuals can take a more proactive and informed approach to their health Motivational Mondays is sponsored by Ionia Distributors LLC, the company that distributes my stainless steel barware sets and also my motivational t-shirts. It will be long, but not forever. That's the title of my book. So make sure to go out and get a copy on Amazon. It's available, Instagram, TikTok, wherever that you browse. It's available there. So you have no excuse not to get a copy of my book or the stainless steel barware set or my t-shirt. So go ahead and get all those goodies. And now let's get back into the interview with Dr. Virgo. Dr. Virgo, outside of the doctor's office, what proactive steps can individuals take to monitor and also to manage their health throughout the year? So after that yearly physical, what can they do apart from the exercising and everything else? What else can they do to manage their lifestyle?
Okay, so this a big. So you're asking like outside of going to the doctor, outside of what being mindful of the what they eat and exercise, what else they can do?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, so there are different ways to be proactive. So we know we have the plan that in place from the doctor, but things you can think about is tracking as well. You're tracking your own health indicators, which can be like, how do you feel after sleep? Like, for example, are you feeling refreshed? Are you feeling tired despite having 8 hours of sleep? What are your stress levels? Are you tracking them? How are you managing that stress? Right? Is journaling helping? What are your energy levels like? Tracking those as well can be helpful. Are you staying adequately hydrated? Right? When was the last time we really tracked like how much water we're drinking? And we know hydration is so good for us, right? Even can even impact our energy levels, right? These are some things that can be helpful. Even the heart monitor, sometimes the phones can check that as well, where they check the heart rate. So there are different things, maybe you recognize that you used to run a 5K or a 1K, right? And then all of a sudden you can't anymore. You're feeling more tired, you're feeling tired quicker than usual. That's
Yes.
something that you may need to get checked out, because if you're sleeping okay and other things, maybe something can be indicated something is wrong. Again, if you have a chronic illnesses, again, having that blood pressure at home, if you have high blood pressure, or monitoring your blood sugar levels can be helpful as well. So just keeping track of different, say, still looking at the different aspects or pillars of health, but in different ways. It's where you're starting now to become in tune with your own body and recognizing different things to help you know what's going on. Even self-assessment can be good, or self-examination. So even looking at your own skin, maybe you have a mole and you recognize it's changing. So this is something you can probably do maybe once a year, recognize that the mole is changing. That's something you want to bring up with the doctor as well. Um, so breast examination as well is something too. So the different way, there's a few then, for example, what you can do to help do outside of the office and outside of what doctors have already given you. And then this way, again, when you go back to your doctor, you can update them.
I know that many people tend to turn to natural remedies of, just trying to be proactive, herbal treatments. What guidance would you offer to those exploring herbal medicines, or how effective are those remedies in supporting the body's psychological needs?
That is a great question and timely as well. As you mentioned, there are more persons that are turning more to the herbs or the natural remedies. And it's important to, you have to approach them with curiosity, but also you want to be cautious with them as well, because natural doesn't always mean that it's harmless. So while many herbs we know can offer some health benefits, right? We've known for years that traditional medicine for centuries have been using them as supportive tools, right? They don't always use it as a treatment alone. It's usually more of a supportive tools. And to give an example, if you're using, some persons may turn to herbs for the blood pressure management, to what it will look different for helping the blood pressure versus
Yes.
using it to treat just the high blood pressure. Because if someone, for example, has extremely high numbers, maybe 200 over over one something, over 100 and something, that's can be that's an urgent. We need to go to the doctor right away.
Yes.
The medication can help right away
Yes.
in that moment, while the herbs can take some time to work. So we got to be cautious. It does have some health benefits, but the different things we need to look at in it when we're doing it, and so it requires proper guidance as well and a
Yes.
full care plan. So there's no one size fits all with it either. So you want to be looking at talking with your doctor for sure,
That's right.
because herbs can actually affect, medications as well. So if you're on medications, you want to make sure your doctor is aware of them. So I guess to put it in a nutshell, what I recommend is do your research for sure.
Okay.
Maybe we see something on social media or something, do your own research
Mm-hmm.
and talk with a healthcare professional as well, because you want to make sure it's not, interacting as well with your medication or any underlying condition you may have, right? Again, you want to look at the quality of it, because sometimes there's so many on the market, and especially because you said it's a bigger thing now, it's becoming bigger, persons are looking for it. There's companies out there that may not choose the cleanest or maybe not even have what they say is on the label. So really have to also look at the label and check the safety, the purity of it, the claims. If after speaking with your doctor, right, and your doctor is okay with it and you decide to implement it, then start slowly, right, and gradually if necessary as well, because you want to make sure and observe for any effects, because too much is another thing. Sometimes when you if choosing like herbs or natural remedies, there can be too much that is used and which can cause harm on the body as well. So it's really about doing it with a more cautious approach and doing it with the help of your team as well.
Awesome. That's awesome. So Dr. Virgo is saying too much can be harmful. Is that correct, Dr. Virgo? Yes.
So yes,
And
too much can be harmful, and that is not a quick fix either, because it's I would more say that it's more, if using it, it's best when combined with a holistic approach. So you have those healthy habits, getting those regular checkups, making sure your doctor is involved as well. And it's not a quick fix, and and your doctor can help you do it in a safer way as well. And so it can become more beneficial versus and hurting you more than it was supposed, so than you would have wanted.
yes, thank you so much. And I just want to go back a little bit when you spoke about blood pressure. And in the chat, someone mentioned that's math and science mentioned that I'm always nervous. Being nervous and going to the doctor, will that elevate your blood pressure at that time as well? And what advice would you give to math and science in the comment about being nervous going to the doctor?
So again, that's sometimes very common with when we went to the doctor, and that's why when we check the blood sugar levels for patients, and it's a little elevated, it's something that sometimes is common. We call it the white code, hypertension or high blood pressure, because we know that they get a little nervous when patients come to the doctor, and so the pressure might be a little elevated. So there's several things. That's why we don't use if your pressure is high, you may see the doctor may not say that. They'll use that first reading. They may ask you to check it again. They might ask you to wait a little bit before rechecking it, or you check it at home, or when you come back again. And so some of the things that can be helpful in that moment as well is doing deep breathing exercises too, right? That can help to just bring the body back to that calmness state as well. And that also helps to lower back the blood pressure to probably what it was before. And even after talking with the doctor as well, maybe after you're finished, you'll feel a little bit, or during the interview, you might feel a bit better. So the doctor can recheck the blood pressure in that sense too. I'm
Awesome.
just, I hope that answered the question.
Yes,
Um,
yes, I was just looking at the comment section going off. I just want to say thank you all for commenting. If you do have any questions, please go ahead and send your question in on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, sorry, but we're not able to bring your comments on screen from Facebook. But if you want your comments to be seen on screen, please come on over to YouTube and we'll definitely put your questions up. And I just want to say thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you for sharing out the live as well. We really, really appreciate it. And lastly, Dr. Virgo, let us know what you're working on. Is there a YouTube channel where we can go to get all this information on different aspects of nutrition, overall well-being and everything?
yes, I do have a YouTube channel. It's Dr. Chybar-Virgo, or the name is Healthy, Fit, and Fab as well. So that's where you'll find a few videos in terms of whether it's weight loss or nutrition in general, or gut health. So you can go to that channel as well too. And another thing where you mentioned being practical in terms of putting these healthy lifestyle habits into practice, right? Sometimes persons can hear everything that was here today, right? You can take the nutritional advice, the physical activity, and put it into play right away, right? Some persons can just hear it once and they just take action right away. But there are some persons who need a bit more support, maybe the structure, accountability, or even just having that one-on-one conversation to personalize a plan for them. So if there's someone that's looking for that, that's another thing we're working on right now, where we have that started today actually. So it's a monthly program, it's 21 days, and it's designed to really help you integrate. It's really designed to help you integrate these habits into your day, like into whether it's a busy life that you have being a problem that's in implementing them. And it's really a great kickstart. So you know that you have a support behind it. And I think it's coming up on the screen here. This is an app that has workout videos with you fitness levels, workouts you can do at home or in the gym, or has meal plans, recipes, and shopping lists as well, all in the app. And we also get a private community group chat as well.
Thank you so much. What's the name of the app for? Because earlier, I guess it was over um, the background. So just go ahead and mention the app where they can find it.
Okay. Yes, it's the We Do app. We can share a link in the chat because to get access to the main resources, we'd have to grant access to that. So I guess we can put that in the chat for the link. But it's called the We Do Transformation app.
Okay. So we do transformation app. So go ahead and download it. And it's a 21-week challenge or 21 days
21
challenge.
days. Mhm.
Thank you so much, Dr. Virgo. It's a pleasure. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us?
Sure. As we've talked about health in general, and as you made, it's motivational Mondays. So as
Yes.
you've listened to all of this, and it was a lot of information, but as you review, maybe come back and watch the video, right, and see, like maybe make a list of what are the things that maybe relate to you that you may want to implement, and as you're going through, maybe choose the ones that are more relevant to you and start with just one or three things first and take small actionable steps, but I mean consistent with them. You can gradually work your way up to the others, but start small, right? Because you don't feel overwhelmed. And again, I remind you as well that it's your health. And just by being here, you've taken another step to being healthier. Just It's just now for you to take the information and take action, for that longevity, that life you can live your best life and feel amazing. So that would be my last words for today.
Thank you so much for reminding us that our health is our wealth. And on that note, I just want to say thank you so much for being here with us and joining us to share such amazing insight and valuable bits and pieces. I know, just in case anyone wants to get in touch with you, where can they get in touch with you?
Okay, so to get in touch with me, you can via email or on Instagram. So I'll put my Instagram name. It's Rivane Chybar or bloodsugar.n.beyond. That's the Instagram. Or also via email at info at healthyfitandfab.gmail.com.
Thank you so much. And it is on the screen, so go ahead, write it down so that you don't get, you're looking for this. Just take this moment right now, write it down. Go ahead, follow her YouTube channel as well. Dr. Virgo, thank you for such an informative session. And we look forward, hopefully, in the future to have you back on the show to share more health talks with us. And thank you for the dedication to helping others better understand their health and their wellness. Thank you again. It has been truly a pleasure having you here today. And this is where we close Motivational Mondays. Thank you for tuning in. Remember now, Motivational Mondays is every first and third Mondays of each month at 7 p.m. and 6 p.m. Jamaica time. Don't forget to share it with your friends and your family. And as always, please subscribe to my YouTube channel at Fionia and Friends. Be sure to get a copy of my book. It will be long, but not forever. Also, get the t shirt. And also, remember to get my stainless steel barware set as well, available on Amazon. And thank you so much. And if you continue to share out the live, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Until then, see you next time. I am your host, Fionia Salmon. See you soon.